Hello and welcome to Rational Gamers Top 10 Games of 2015, where we don't actually count down the games because that'd be a little bit arbitrary. What we are going to do instead is just give you the games that we thought were the best throughout the year, and maybe give them a fun, kind of stupid, more stupid award for each one. The point is, when you've got so much quality, it's kind of arbitrary to put a number on them. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
The award for making Marty shit himself goes to Bloodborne. We've had Demon Souls and we've had Dark Souls, but finally they've created something that's goddamn perfect in Bloodborne. Taking away the kind of weird medieval vibe that you had from the Dark Souls games, and instead infusing it with an almost cyberpunk, Victorian, ridiculous, deadly vibe. Bloodborne really takes things to the next level. Bloodborne creates some fantastic vistas, some of the best graphics that I have seen in a game this generation, regardless of whether that's on console or on PC. Yes, I'm going that far, Nick. Shove it up your arse if you don't agree. Bloodborne is just created a world so far beyond our own, but so deadly, so gorgeous, that anybody would love to get trapped in it, even if they would only last for a 10-second period. I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I did. It's really one of those that I'm going to go back and play any number of times, because I'm pretty sure I missed out half of that bloody game.
Of course, special mention has to go to GTA 5 for its next-gen and PC version. It's practically a whole new game. I mean, they added in first person, which is major in itself, plus any amount of new things you can do. I haven't even discovered them all, and just the graphical update, and it's just great. They took their time. It took ages to come out on PC, and yeah, I'm willing to say it was worth it. The Wrong Side of Town award for being chased through the streets in the middle of the night goes to Dying Light. Zombie games can sometimes seem like a plague on gaming, and at first you might feel that Dying Light is no different. But in actual fact, it takes the generic formula and just evolves it in such big ways. Working off the back of Dead Island, it takes the holy melee combat and, well, just makes it all melee combat, because the guns in that game are pretty useless, to be frank, and the game seems to think so as well. I mean, it makes zombies scary again with the night sections, what it's entirely named around, having you chased through the streets by manic, mutated zombies. Another thing that makes it one of our top 10 games of the year is its excellent use of verticality and the fluid running system, which has clearly been taken and evolved upon from Mirror's Edge, which a lot of people complained didn't really work so well with an actual story and, you know, being a game. But Dying Light really builds off of it and really makes it part of the game.
The best game that Nick is still convinced is not a game, we have Mario Maker. Mario Maker is a great example of finally fulfilling a dream of mine. Being able to create a Mario level, become a part of the Mario story. Something that you would never have dreamed of a few years ago. But the Wii U is one of those few consoles that really puts those kind of tools into your hand and makes it easily accessible to just about anyone. I mean, it could be argued that Little Big Planet did it beforehand, but Mario Maker really refined that. It took away a heck of a lot of the abilities that you had with something like Little Big Planet, but at the same time, it's created something that is so much more refined and so much. You've got so much more control. whilst at the same time having a good portion of that taken away from you. And then also, of course, you've got the massive amount of nostalgia that comes with being able to finally create your own Mario levels and play through both old school and new school. There's something for everybody, something for kids, something for adults, and a fantastic package there that's still being updated now.
We also want to give special mention to Life is Strange by doing what Telltale seems no longer able to do. They have made a point-and-click adventure that makes you feel, that creates a wonderful atmosphere and just tells a fantastic story. Whereas Telltale seem to have got bogged down in their own formula, Life is Strange has seemed to have broken out of that and taken that core Telltale idea and really run with it. The Miracle of Ascension award for making soccer actually fun goes to Rocket League. Rocket League is definitely one of the standout games of this year, and it's definitely one of the games you play with your friends. If you want arguments, that is. It takes football, soccer as we call it in England, and puts a great twist on it. It puts kind of like the Top Gear idea of it, where you kick around the ball with cars, and then adds in boosts and jumps and a stylistic choice which just makes it so fun. Not to mention the fact that it's just perfectly made. It feels tight in the controls, it looks gorgeous, and it's just generally great to play. Another thing is actually that it's gone big time into the esports. I mean, there have been tournaments based around this bloody game already, and the skill of some of those people is unbelievable. So it's no wonder that it's in one of our top 10. In fact, it only came out this year and there's an esports crowd surrounding it.
And the lack of clarification as to whether Squid or indeed Kid award goes to Splatoon. Released by Nintendo earlier this year, Splatoon is one of those games that was released without massive amounts of content, largely multiplayer only, but with a superb single-player campaign. We have what is in fact a brilliant game, absolute gem. It's one of those arenas that you would not have expected Nintendo to ever tread into, a online multiplayer shooter. But the fact is, this is a brilliant game that really transpires beyond the average first-person shooter or third-person shooter genre. This is a game that really changes things up, with a brilliant traversal mechanic of becoming a squid, which is in fact tied in to the ammunition that you fire and the gunshots that you create, but yet also being an incredibly competitive game. We have what is indeed one of the greatest games of the year, not only for the Wii U. And also, which should be mentioned, fantastic motion controls, something that you just don't see in a game like this, but really adds something to it.
We also want to talk about Kerbal Space Program, which was released from Early Access this year. It simulates the solar system, and you can travel to every part of that solar system. If that doesn't deserve special mention, I don't know what does. Build rockets, build spacecraft, launch them, build moon bases, land on other planets, moons of other planets. It's brilliant. Go get this game. It's fantastic. The award for Bovine in a Volcano for realistic physics, or the lack thereof, goes to Just Cause 3. Being the third in the series, Just Cause 3 returns to showing us what gaming really should be, of that being fun. It's built on Just Cause 2 immensely by just being the same game basically, while making additions such as the wingsuit and, well, more stuff that you can blow up. Everybody likes to blow up stuff on Just Cause, of course, that's what the whole game's about. But Just Cause 3 just does it in a wholly next-gen fashion. Although there were tech issues on launch, patches have been released intermittently and are continuing to be released to bolster the game's playability and just make it better for new players. So it goes to show that Avalanche Studios really do care about their player base and that's half of what makes Just Cause 3 one of our top 10 games of the year.
Most innovative use of a cardboard box goes to Metal Gear Solid 5. Despite the controversy, despite the fact that half of the game is almost certainly missing, Metal Gear Solid 5 still manages to make it into the top 10. The fact is that, yes, Konami should indeed be fucked for all that they have done this year. They have really made enemies out of so much of the gaming industry. But at the same time, Kojima managed to rise above it and create a fantastic game that really deserves to be played. Yes, there are rumours abound that a new game is up and coming over the next few years, but at the same time, I'm happy to just ignore all of that and be happy in the fact that Metal Gear Solid 5 is indeed here. Yes, would it be nice if some DLC was released to finally finish off what was almost certainly an unfinished game? Absolutely, totally. But at the same time, the bit that we've got really is a gem and deserves to be played by anybody. We'll just put it to one side, admire it in a corner, and just close our ears, eyes, and every other orifice whenever anybody tells us that there should have been more.
The Irradiated Iguana Award for Wandering Too Far South goes to Fallout 4. This game was guaranteed Game of the Year awards even before its release. Even before its announcement, people were thinking, yeah, Fallout 4. It's Game of the Year material because, you know, every Bethesda game based in the Elder Scrolls or Fallout worlds are. And quite frankly, they deserve it. They've not just sat on their laurels. They've worked at this game. It plays beautifully. There are so many hours of gameplay in this game. It's actually unbelievable. So many people have said that they've gone 10, 20 hours without even starting the main quest. Plus, you've got the slight evolution of the gameplay. I mean, at its height, it's still Fallout. But you've got the voiced protagonist this time, which kind of puts a BioWare kind of Mass Effect spin on it. Which, to be honest, I kind of like, because at the end of the day, if you don't like that aspect of it, there's nothing to stop you going back and playing Fallout 3. Then trying different things with it, and they get credit for that.
For Best Goat in a Parental Role, the award goes to Undertale. Kickstarter's given us some real crap, and given a really good excuse to never trust it again. And then, for some god-awful reason, along comes Undertale, a game that was funded through Kickstarter, had an endless number of promises, and actually bloody well delivered on them. Now I don't know whether to trust it or not, stupid dickhead Undertale. Undertale is, for me, probably my favourite game of the year. Not because it's done anything magnificent, but because it's all magnificent. They've created a package that is so far beyond anything anybody else has managed to come out with. That's so refined in terms of its visuals, its sound, and its humour. And taking the RPG genre and finally creating something that's active, something that anybody is able to play and doesn't have to be bogged down in any number of stats. And that isn't even talking about the third wall, fourth wall, and I'd go so far as to say fifth wall breaking antics that you have going on there. Some of the best humour that you will ever find in a game. Shove Earthbound, go for Undertale.
Finally, a special mention has to go to Her Story, which it hasn't even taken the idea from anywhere that I know. No, it's just a completely new take on interactive storytelling. It's just police footage of a woman being interviewed, and what you do in the bits in between that depends on what she responds to. It tells a different story every time, and they deserve credit for just going out there. This is really what indie gaming really is about, is finding those new things and doing stuff we've not seen before. So yeah, well done to them. The Tolkien's Backyard Award for Epic Epicness goes to, of course, The Witcher 3. blowing away all competition this year has got to be The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Ever since the start of the series, people have been thinking, that's a bit different, it's kind of interesting, but it's just gaining popularity and becoming better, and I feel that The Witcher 3 kind of attains a pinnacle. And in some respects, I hope that they don't make another Witcher game, at least not behind Geralt or anything, because this is this is like the magnum opus. I mean, you've got the epic story, there's a massive amount of atmosphere, and so much gameplay. Like with the Bethesda games, there's just so much you can do. It's excellent all round. Special props go out to CD Projekt Red, because they've come up from pretty much nothing. They have really shot up towards an industry leader, and they thoroughly deserve The Witcher 3 to be on Game of the Year. So there you have it, the top 10 games that we here at Rational Gamers thought stood out the most this year. It was a pretty good year for gaming on retrospect. We had a lot of different stuff. I mean, on this list alone, there's a whole lot of different types of games. And if you go out there and just keep gaming, then you will see the sheer variety. And every year we seem to be getting more and more variety. So, yeah, it's a good time to be a gamer. So why not get out there and game? Game more in 2016. And don't forget to come back to Rational Gamers to find out what's good in gaming, and maybe have a little bit of fun as well, because we tend to be quite stupid and fun here. That's what we do. So have a happy new year, and we will see you in 2016.